Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games, back with another really cool arcade game video for you today. Check this out. We have an original Midway Galaxian Arcade Game in the store. And I'll show you something special about it here in a second. But of course this was released by Namco overseas, and then they licensed it to Midway for the United States. These were really cool cabinets. It was the first one that they did that had that Pac-Man cabinet look to it, or at least that I'm aware of. I think it's the first one. And I think it came out in 1980. Am I right about that? Or was it earlier than that? I believe it was 1980. But this one here is the actual one with the big 25-inch monitor in it. So I'll show you that here in a second. Let's see, they're saying 1979 on the marquee. But usually when they do the art, they do it a little early, so it might have not came out till 1980. These had a really strange way that they did the art. It has like white vinyl on the side of it. Let's see if I can get a good... Yeah, there you go. See the texture in it? It's like vinyl, thick vinyl on the sides. See what I mean? On the wood. And then they silk screened the artwork right on the white vinyl. And Atari kind of did a similar thing, but theirs was smooth. It didn't have a texture to it like that. But the ink that they used is pretty weak, so it would wear right slap off. You can see how worn it's gotten. And so when you get a Galaxian, the artwork is usually worn pretty bad. You can't even really clean it. If you hit this with Windex or something and a paper towel, you're going to lose a lot of that color. And it's very complex looking artwork. So down here at the bottom you have this green moonscape with crevices and everything. It says Midway, a Bally company. You have these gears and things and all of these cables. You have this little moon base. I'm assuming it's the moon, I don't know. And then you have the big bug, which as you can see is a robot. It's robotic. Galaxian. So it's hard to get these that actually still have the original art because it wears slap off, as it has done on the front. So on the front someone had painted over it like a dark blue, so the kick art is long gone, but there's usually art down here. That's the original door, which someone's installed just a red button in. This side, the art is a little bit better. And the T-molding, that's the original color that it came with. It originally had green T-molding, which looks pretty cool, matches everything. And that's how it was. So Midway's Galaxian, the marquee's in pretty good shape. It has this like black level on the top, and it's on the bottom too. That's actually silk screened on it. So let's read the instructions. Instructions: insert coin. Select one or two players. Control lever moves defense ship right or left. To fire missile, press button. Attacking alien ships scores higher than ships in convoy. Attacking alien ships score higher than the ships in the convoy. Scoring: in convoy 30, attacking 60, 40, 80, 50, 100, 80, and who knows. Flagship attack, 150 points. With one escort you get 200 points. With two escorts you get 300 points. Two escorts, flagship, last 800 points. And it says 1979 again. So this thing, the story I heard was that they had a bunch of extra 25-inch color monitors that they were putting in Seawolf 2, and Seawolf 2 didn't sell that great, so they had a bunch of them around and they hooked them into these big old Galaxian cabinets. So if you look at most Galaxians, they have a 19, but the first run of thousands or whatever had this big 25-inch color monitor in it. And if you look at the bezels on the 19-inch ones, they're slightly different. If you look real close, you'll notice there's actually like a black border around the edge of the artwork. So see how the art doesn't really go all the way to the edge? There's like a black border. The only difference between this one and a 19-inch is that on a 19-inch that goes over a little farther. So it goes over to like here, but it's still just a black border. So they just made that border a little thicker all the way around on the 19, which is a pretty popular one. And then on the top here, it's kind of hard to see it, but if you look on the top, hope that's light enough, you can see how it just abruptly kind of ends. That's because if you look on the back of the bezel, it looks like from the factory, and this is a factory game, it's never been kitted or anything, it looks like from the factory they used a razor blade to make it a little bit taller, to cut off some of the artwork so that you could see more of the screen and they could adjust it up a little bit bigger. So they've got it adjusted in a little bit. The tube actually runs over to about here. And they didn't really design it for the 25-inch one. They just used it because they had a bunch of them sitting around. So it's got a big, huge 25-inch tube. And these are the ones that you have to converge. I can't remember what they call it, but it's it just has a different way of converging everything. So there's all kinds of adjustments and stuff on the neck board to converge this thing. You can see in there a little bit, but it's not bright enough to check it out. Big old huge chassis, and the neck board has all kinds of adjustments and stuff. So we did converge it, but we're not experts on it, so it's slightly off. We got everything right, but we couldn't get the blue perfect. So the blue was slightly off. In the center, everything's pretty good, but on the edges, it's a little bit not quite right. So on the score too. So there's like a shadow because the blue's slightly off. But in the middle of the screen, everything's good. So we almost got it perfect, but that's what you run into when you're working on this old stuff. We're not good enough at repairing TVs that we can adjust it all out. But I'll get the tripod and we'll play through it a little bit. You can see the difference between it and Galaga. All right, folks. So this particular game we have set on free play, and this is what it looks like on free play. It doesn't really have a very good attract mode during free play. They still have the cascade of the star field behind it, but no good attract mode if it's on free play. Now if it's not on free play, it has a pretty cool attract mode like most games do. So we'll play it a little bit. You can see where the convergence is off slightly on that big monitor. See this blue shadow? That should actually be lined up with the letters. You can see it at the top too. It's off a little bit. We couldn't quite get it converged perfectly. Now I'm horrible at Galaxian. I'm alright at Galaga, but Galaxian I was never good at. But we'll play it a little bit. You can only do one shot at a time. So as long as the shot is on the screen, which in Galaxian it's easy to miss the lines until you get really good at it. Oh, they got me. We're going to play it a couple times. So if your shot misses them and goes all the way up, you have to wait for it. You got to remember the timeline. You know, this was 1979, 1980. Ooh, I almost dodged it. It's 1979, 1980. So this was the successor to basically to Space Invaders, you know. I mean, of course the same company didn't design it, but Midway had done the American version of Space Invaders. And then when they did, whenever they got Galaga that Namco had done, they had Namco had improved on this kind of concept. So if you can read that, my score was 1,860. That is pathetic. We got to do better than that. I haven't played Galaxian enough to have any real strategies. thinking. The more I think about it, Galaxian and Galaga must have been designed by the same people, because it actually has some of the same. Oh, it actually has some of the same enemies, right? Oh, that's pretty cool. When you get to the end of the wave, the music stops, or the swarm stops. Oh, he flew off. Their movement is much different than on Galaga, so it... Oh, man, they got me. Just on the edge a little bit. Oh, he got me again. Okay, I gotta stop doing that. That last one, if you try to... He'll curve around and just clip the back of you. 3,850. That's about twice as good as last time, right? That move right there is a little dangerous. And when there's this many of them, it seems pretty dangerous. I think it seems like the best way to get good at it is to get more accurate with your shooting. On Galaga, you can kind of just spray the bullets, because if it doesn't hit one of them, it'll hit one of the things above. And I usually play it with the rapid fire chip on it. So there's like the bullets travel a lot faster, and you can have a couple on the screen. But on this one, so in other words, so on Galaga, if you miss them, it goes up and it hits the swarm, or whatever it's called, you know, whatever it's considered, at the top. But on this one, you don't really have that option. So I think you're much better off on this one if you get really accurate with your shooting, so that you don't waste. See how I'm shooting and it's missing them, and then you get in a situation where you can't shoot until the bullet gets off the screen. I'm in big trouble here, I think. See, like that. See how quickly I was able to shoot those two, because I hit the first one. All right. Got me. You can't hide in the corner like you can on Galaga either. On Galaga, a lot of times you can get over to the corner and they can't get that far. But that one just followed me right into the corner. On Galaga, you can kind of change how they're going to move by getting near them. So like if you come over at them and then go back, they'll kind of be out of the way. But on this one, you can't. They're just kind of... they've got their own pattern. It doesn't seem like it changes once they start flying. Oh, man. See that little move I busted on them? You see that little move? I know y'all saw that little move. See that little move? They keep getting me with that. All right, but I got another high score. I'm up to 4,000 points. Now, the people that know how to play this game are probably laughing hysterically that I'm bragging about 4,000 points. Let's try it again now. Just like Galaga, it's got great music and sound effects. And Space Invaders. I consider Space Invaders to have great music and sound effects, even though it's just the, you know, the thump, 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 thump. It's a lot like Space Invaders, kind of. There's a lot of Space Invaders to it. Just the way the back and forth movement at the top, how they're all lined up perfectly. Oh. Hear how the swarm changed? Uh-oh. Oh! Barely made it. Oh, this how he like stopped and turned around. That's when you could get him. And so now the whole swarm sound is gone because it's the last wave or whatever. Whew. All right. I kind of want to just get to more levels so I can see if there's different creatures. Hard to get through that one. You get a lot more points if they're flying. What did we just read a minute ago? Ooh, I guess if you like run at that lineup whenever they're coming, you can shoot a lot more of them. Didn't work for me that time, but 4,710. We're getting a little better. I do have the high score since the last time it was turned on 3 minutes ago. Alright, so when they're attacking, everything is worth more points. So where I've been screwing up is I've been focusing on shooting them while they're not attacking. But if you just wait and shoot them as they're attacking, you get a lot more points. But, you know, of course, that's much harder. But watch this. We can go... Can't we? Oh, shit. I was going to say, if you can hit one of them whenever they do that, you've got the opportunity to hit 3 or 4 of them and get a lot of points. Like that. I want to get more than one of them whenever they're doing it. So I got 2 that time. 3. I got 3 that time. Missed. That one just goes crazy. I didn't do too much better that time. So let me read that again, what it says. Attacking alien ships scores higher than ships in convoy. In convoy, you get 30 or you get 60 if they're attacking, 45. You get 40 for the red ones or 80 if they're attacking, 50 for the other red ones or 100 if they're attacking. 80 in convoy, and you get a lot more for the yellow one if it's attacking. So basically you get twice as many points if they're attacking. So I'm gonna try not to shoot anything unless it's attacking. Let's see how that works. That might not work too good, because if you don't get rid of some of them, you might be in big trouble. Maybe I should wait till they get closer. Okay, that didn't work. All right. Missed him. Yeah. I did pretty good on that yellow one, right? Yeah, so see, like this is a good opportunity. Oh, I missed him. I'm trying not to shoot the formation. Oh, whoops! Alright, so I made 2,910 points on the first wave without finishing the board. So that's marginally better than I was doing just spraying and praying. So we'll try it one more time, doing it that way. I bet you could get pretty good at just like sniping them. I'm getting the timing down a little bit. Like that. Oh, missed him. Okay, it's these guys here. And of course the yellow ones are the ones that really give you the points. I was trying. And they alternate sides, so that makes it a little easier to figure out. So you get 300 for the yellow one. Missed. A little crazy. Missed. That was a good opportunity there. Come on now. Ooh, well, there you you go, folks. There's a little bit of Galaxian on the original big old huge Electrohome Go2 monitor. Still working great after all these years. Now, by the time you see this video, I may not have Galaxian anymore. It may have flown off to someone else's game room. You can see everything I do have, that we do have for sale on our website. Go to lionsarcade.com. It's always up to date. This is on there right now because it's for sale. But if you see this several years from now, likely not. But you can see an up-to-date listing of everything we have for sale on lionsarcade.com. Now, you can stop by and see us in person here, too. We have a building full of arcade games for sale at all times. Some pinball machines, some jukeboxes every once in a while. We're in downtown Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is about 15 miles south of Charlotte, North Carolina. Like I said, we've got all kinds of stuff like this for sale at all times. Now, if you're not local so you can't come by, and you don't want to go on our website because you don't want to buy one either, that's fine. Just subscribe to us here on YouTube. We film videos like this all the time. We love our YouTube fans. But make sure you give us a thumbs up because we took so much time to make this video for you. I didn't have to do this, folks. I got better things I could have been doing, but I was thinking of you. And leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about it and how bad I am at playing it. And give me some tips, right? Give me some tips, people. We'll see you on the next video.